That's us. We're underway. How you doing, mate?
Yep, good. Aye. Well, it's good to get the first pod on the go of Scottish Football Matters.
Aye.
I think it's a good idea, obviously, given the fact that you watch a lot of Celtic pods, I watch a lot of Rangers pods, and you very rarely see ones that kind of come together and can sort of show a bit of respect either side. Because at the end of the day, like Scottish football as a product is not, what it should be, and
That's right.
I think it's good just to sort of talk about all the clubs because I actually think for the first time in about 20 years, I'm actually excited about a new season because, no disrespect, obviously you've had it quite fun for the last 13 or 14 years.
Sorry about that, mate.
But no, I think Rangers look like they're going to be a stronger Rangers. Aberdeen, Hibs, Hearts are now starting to, for me, spend money, get good
Yep.
investment, and trying to make it just a more competitive league. I think the Conference League's really helped that. So I think the fact that there's a team getting in, the smaller European clubs, Hibs and Hearts and Aberdeen are starting to spend money. I think Hibs broke their transfer record this summer, signing, and Aberdeen just sold a guy for 850,000. So Pape Gay, good player, but I'm
He was a
actually
good player.
glad to see the back of him.
So am I.
But yeah, I think that's kind of why I wanted to do it anyway, just because I thought, it's good to chat about these things. And let's be honest, you're going to chat about these things down the pub, what have you. And I think
Right.
it's better to do it in your own house and have a little drink in it and have a
Mm-hmm.
wee chat about it.
And
Yeah,
I've got the football on in the background at the minute. I know it's no Premiership, but it's a Broth and
is that right? Yeah.
Ayr United.
Mm.
Yep. Um.
But yeah, I mean,
So
I think the
on the
best way to
agenda,
start
we were going to talk about the midweek European games, weren't we? We were going to review
yeah, it
them.
was. I think it was actually quite a decent week. If you take away the actual standard of the performances, but results wise, Rangers knocked out Panathinaikos, which is a good result given the time of the season, given the heat, all of that. And Hibs were really unlucky against a really decent side in Midtjylland. I mean,
Well, their goals that they got. I mean, I saw the highlights. The first goal they got disallowed, I thought was a bit harsh. Second one looked uh, offside, but the first one was really marginal. If that.
it's hard to tell in it with these awful camera angles
Yep,
that you get with VAR in Scotland or
that's right.
Aldi VAR.
Poundland version.
But no, I think the fact that Hibs managed to draw with probably one of the top two teams in Denmark, both games were a minute away for penalties. I
Aye,
think they can take a lot of confidence for that because
that's right.
one, it wasn't an easy draw, and although they're dropping down to the Conference League, I think that's the level. If they'd went into the Europa League, I think they would have really struggled with the
Still think it's a
standard.
tough qualifier in the conference for
As
them, though.
Partizan next, but I don't think they're quite as good as maybe they were in previous years. But they're still tough and tough for Dundee United as well. But well done for them to getting through because
Oh, aye.
we really need the Scottish teams to really pull their weight because
Oh, if I shit needs to get better.
we've had too many embarrassings and it can't just be relied on, you know, Celtic. I mean, are now not getting automatic qualification
Yep.
because only Rangers, to be fair, has really been pulling their weight. We've had teams getting knocked out in the second, the third round of qualifying, and there's no excuse for it because last season I watched Shamrock Rovers playing the Conference League, and you cannot tell me that Shamrock Rovers are a bigger, a better side than Aberdeen, Hibs, Hearts,
That's
Dundee
true.
United. I would even go as far as saying Kilmarnock, Motherwell, St Mirren,
Yep.
where it should be competitive with Shamrock Rovers.
They should be. I
Um,
mean,
I
teams
think
like
that
that,
we're getting
they're no financial. They're not get the finances that Celtic Rangers have got. But
we're
I
getting
mean, surely they can
those
compete at
teams are
that
getting
level.
outperformed by Northern Irish and Welsh teams,
Hmm.
and to me that's not acceptable because they have bigger budgets than those teams.
Hmm.
They really do. And I now think that, as I said, the fact that the last couple of years, I think Aberdeen, Hearts have been in the Conference League and they've done okay. Like not like getting to the next rounds, but just being competitive in those things is getting the money. Getting those 3 home games, 3 away games, get some experience. And I just think that going into this season, I think we're going to see a lot stronger domestically
Well, I hope they are.
because now
Because
they're
I
actually
suppose it's
seeing
good
that
for Scottish football.
There's a pathway now. And let's be honest, apart from the years that Rangers were out the league, there was no pathway for these other teams because they weren't good enough to get into the Champions League, and there wasn't that many places to go into the Europa League. And now the fact that they've brought the Conference League in, as I said, it's a good opportunity for Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, and
It seems easier. It seems
I
easier,
honestly
but
believe that they can start getting to the knockout stages of these tournaments within 5 years,
they should be able to.
especially
But
with
it
Hearts
seems
and
it
with
seems uh, it
Tony
seems
Bloom.
uh, hard for them, doesn't it? It seems
But
hard, but
Hearts
it
have
shouldn't be
got
hard.
the
It should be. The reason the Conference League was brought in was to help teams like that out,
yeah, but
and so they could
unfortunately
qualify
teams like
a lot more for
unfortunately
Europe
teams
than
like
what they do at the
Chelsea and
moment.
West Ham have been in it. That's not going to
Well,
help.
yeah,
But there's also been teams like Noah FC. I mean, who
who
are
are
they?
they?
Do you know what I mean? And I think, as I said, we had Shamrock in it, and Shamrock did quite well. I think they
Hmm.
held their own, and I think they were very close to getting to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So there's just no excuse to not be aiming that with the Tony Bloom money. The Hibs are linked up with Bournemouth, aren't they? So
Aye.
they can start to go, okay, if we buy £1 million player, if we get into the Europa League, that's going to make us 3
Is that
million.
who Tony Bloom's way? Is it
Well,
Bournemouth?
Tony Bloom's at Brighton and he's
Oh,
with
I thought
Hearts.
was it no Brighton that they're
And
linked up with then?
Hearts are with Brighton, but Hibs are linked up with Bournemouth.
Right.
Not quite to the same. It's not quite to the same, but they've got a sort of pathway, and because I think they loaned a couple of players last year, Bournemouth, to them,
Yep.
and I think maybe they'll start to do that again. And because there's bound to be good young Bournemouth players, and we know that Brighton have got good young players. Now,
Of
whether they
course.
can convince them to come up, but they can convince them to come up if Hearts get competitive in Europe.
But Brighton have always been run really well as well. I mean, they used to have who was that? Zerbi, the manager that
Yeah,
they used to
but
have.
not just
He was
that
a
though.
he was a good manager.
The owners of Brighton, they also own Union Saint Gilloise, who have completely changed Belgian football. They have. It used to just be Club Bruges, Anderlecht, Club Bruges, Anderlecht. Now
Hmm.
they've completely taken over, and they're right in there, and that's just good. And so it shows that they can't. They're not just short them in like the Premiership market. Let's spend 20 million. I mean, they signed that Caicedo for 2 million and sold him for 115 million.
Aye,
So they can,
that's a lot
and
of money in it.
the signings they've made for Union Saint Gilloise have been brilliant. And yeah, I think it's good for Scottish football to see these people involved.
Right,
But
let's
yeah,
change the subject now and go and talk about the transfer window. How do you think the transfer window in Scotland's going at the minute in terms of
excellent.
For Celtic Rangers and obviously for the rest of the clubs in the league?
Yeah, I think if I start with Celtic, they didn't have a lot to. I don't think Celtic got the strongest squad anyway, right? So it's not like they need a
They're still
major
about five
overhaul.
players short, I'd say though. That they should have a lot more players in them. They've got better calibre of players than what they've signed so far.
I agree. I think they need a left back, a centre back, a couple of wingers, a striker, and I still think they need a real sort of a good caliber number six, somebody who like the Wanyama mould, somebody that can just sit in midfield in Europe. And it's hard to get these players because you need to find them, but Neil Lennon managed to find guys like Wanyama, Van Dijk. They are out there.
You can get them. You
And
just need to
I know
look.
Celtic have done brilliant in the Japanese market and
Japanese
the
market.
Korean ones, but I don't think we use the Scandinavian market enough. I really don't. I look at that Bodo Glimt, for instance, right?
Hmm.
They're brilliant.
Aye,
I
they're
mean,
doing really well.
their players are on wages similar to Motherwell,
Mhm.
Hearts, Dundee United.
And look at them as well. They seem to do really well in Europe every time they're in it.
They got to a semi-final last year, which
There you
says
go.
all. I
I
mean,
know.
but I think that it's a market, Rangers and Celtic, and I think Jimmy Tillene's really doing it with Aberdeen because he knows the Swedish market. He's brought in some players from over there, and they've done well. I think
They have.
I actually think Aberdeen signings have been really decent. But I think the one this summer that's really impressed me is Hearts. I think Derek McInnes knows what he's doing.
Hmm.
I don't think they play the best football, but
No,
they play effective football. And I think he said a quote which I really liked. That he said, "People have been enjoying coming to Tynecastle because it's a great atmosphere, but they've been enjoying because they've been winning there because Hearts haven't been good enough."
they should
Whereas I
finish a lot
remember,
higher in the league than what they did last season.
I always at the start of every season, I always looked at right Old Firm derbies. When are you going to Aberdeen? But you always looked at Hearts and going, "Oh, I hope away to Hearts is surrounded by maybe two home games against, maybe games that you expect to win,"
Hmm.
because Hearts has just always been tough. But recently, it's not. You know, I can think back to over the last few years. Rangers have won, and Celtic have won by 4 goals at Tynecastle, and that should be unheard of. you know, I think Celtic actually battered them
You can only
last
play
season
what's in
playing.
front of you, really. I mean, if they're not good enough, then
No, but Derek
that's it.
McInnes just won't allow that. I don't think. I mean,
No,
you've
but
seen
I
it
mean, we used
yourself,
to batter Aberdeen when he was a manager of them as well. So
but I think he's improved though because you look at. I don't think he's ever really battered Kilmarnock over the last few years. It's always
no,
been
they're a bit
horrible.
harder, aren't they? It's
But
that
that's
pitch though
because
as well.
yeah, but even at Parkhead, they've shown up quite well. Like
I do.
they've lost like 2-1s, and I think they even got a draw there, year,
Hmm.
in a late goal. But no, I think if we go back to where we were about Celtic, I think Celtic need to be shopping in a higher caliber market. They need to be shopping for Champions League players because I think the players they've got now are good enough domestically.
But they need to, if they
But
want to progress in Europe, they need to get a higher quality of
and
player in.
that's what I mean. I think they need a proper number six because Cal McGregor's an excellent player, right? But he cannot control a match against the top level teams. He can't.
No,
He can't. He doesn't break it up the way a real good number six should. He doesn't dictate the. He dictates it domestically.
hmm
He, he decides how Celtic are going to play. But I just think and I think he's had a good player in Awaka, but you just got rid of him, and I didn't
he
really
was good. We
understand
shouldn't
that
get rid of
because
him. He was
I
good.
feel like he was a recognised number six,
He didn't
and
get a chance. He didn't get a
no.
chance. So
But what do you think about Celtic then? I mean, where do you think they're short?
I'd say that they looks as if we're getting the boy. What's his name? Pusey, for Manchester City. Pusey.
Yeah, we need to go. Need to
Simpson
go with
Pusey. Oh,
Pusey.
aye, Pusey.
Until he
Obviously
makes
he's
a
coming in.
mistake, of course.
He's coming in, and by all accounts, he sounds as if he might be decent. But I still think, obviously, we need another striker.
Well, he definitely got a glowing
And
recommendations from.
we need wingers. We need wingers because having
Yeah,
Forrest
I
on one side and Yang, and then obviously you've only really got Maeda on the other because your Jota's
think
injured. So,
think you could get away with one of them being a lone player, given that
aye,
Jota will be back in
mm-hmm.
like in 6 to 9 months.
Aye, you bring
So
somebody in on loan for 6 months of
you
a
could
season
you could
in that
probably,
area,
but that's the sort of one that you probably need to wait till near the end of the window, till the Premiership teams decide what they're doing.
mm-hmm.
If you
Which
get
is
what I
it's
mean, like,
obviously a pain, isn't it? You
but
can't.
there's always someone out there you go, oh wait now, he's available, is he?
Mm.
And you'll jump over it, and Celtic will jump over that. But I think they need to upgrade in the striker department because I think he does for me he's a 15 goal striker, but
We'll need to
if
wait
you
and see what he does this season. He might kick on this season. Who knows?
he might, but even if you score the goals, I mean Dessers scores the goals, but there's still you'd still want to upgrade
Hmm.
because I mean it's not. I don't think it's not the level that you want. You always want to get better, don't you?
Yep.
You always want to be pushing higher. And as I said, well, Rangers are pretty similar. But we needed a massive rebuild. I mean, we were needing. I mean, we've done I think 7 or 8 signings already. We still need another 5. But you don't need 12, 13 players like we did. We needed an overhaul, and we need to
No,
get
but I
rid of
still think we
12
need
or
about 4 or
13.
5 players. Um, to come in.
But I think they have to be quality players. But the problem is that when Brendan Rodgers got the money last year, he spent nearly 26 million on Ida, Engels, and Trusty.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would say is, although they've got plenty of time to become a big success, I don't think any of them had amazing first seasons. So I can maybe understand why the Celtic board are a wee bit hesitant about big signings.
Yeah.
But just because you get stung once doesn't mean you should be. Well, I don't think you've been stung. I think that's probably the wrong word. But just because it hasn't worked out immediately doesn't mean it won't work out.
No, some players take longer to settle in. I mean, there was players in the past that it's took longer to settle in than a season. You know, I mean, it takes some folk take a season and a half to bed into the culture or whatever.
Nicholas Raskin spent 18 months. 6 months was good, 12 months off one. It was only last season he really kicked on. So, you know, and Engels might need that. He might.
Yep.
And you need to remember he's young. You know, I think, and Trusty maybe to a lesser extent, but the other two are still relatively young. You know, and it just doesn't always happen immediately. But I think the problem is with Celtic is that under Postecoglou, the signings had an instant impact.
You know, and we got them in the door a lot quicker than what we're getting them in at the minute.
But they came in and they made an impact straight away, whereas Brendan's signings haven't really been. I'm not just going to say as good, but they haven't been as impactful. I put it this way: there's the saying that everyone says is you want to leave the transfer window stronger than you started it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Celtic have done that since Postecoglou left.
No,
if I'm
I don't
totally
think
honest,
so.
I think they've maybe stayed, but that's been enough.
I thought the window last summer was all right with the players that they brought in, but obviously we're still waiting on some of them to come good.
But I feel he's overpaid for a few of them because you didn't do your business earlier.
Waited too long.
I don't think Ida costs 9 million in June.
No,
I don't think Engels would have cost 11 in June. I think you could have got that for maybe 8 and 6. But because everyone knew there was a week to go.
Yep. See the boy that they're currently looking at. Is it Broom? His name is. I heard a story the day that he is there's some sort of thing going on with him in terms of the reason they didn't go in with a higher offer is because something to do with they can get him for cheaper, like because his contract's running down as well. I heard something like that there's a clause in it that they can get him cheaper, so that's why they weren't going to go the whole hog and the high offer. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard anyway.
It's tough though because I know Rangers are interested in their other winger, Ant-Man, of course, great name, but I don't think they're going to be in it. Are really wanting both their wingers to go. So Celtic need to get their business done quickly with that one. If they want the boy, they need to get the bid in and get it accepted because by all accounts, I think Rangers are certainly closer to Ant-Man than you seem to be for Brom.
Jakob Brom.
Yeah, but I think. What do you think about Rangers business? How do you see it? Because a lot of it has been very English Championship, League One, but it is a market that the manager knows well, so I can understand it. But I don't want it to be too heavy in that market. I think is 60% of your signs for there, but you still need to go to other places.
I feel as if they've brought in a lot of players, and that doesn't always work at times. Obviously, a lot of players can take a while to gel. They don't all gel right away. So obviously, coming in and the amount of players that they've brought in, they need to hit the ground running, and that doesn't always happen. So we'll need to just wait and see.
I definitely think Rangers need to be looking out with England. Though I think it's good if you know a player like Rothwell and you go, okay, that's somebody I've worked with.
The guy that's the manager's got an English knowledge of the English game, obviously, because he managed down there. But
I still think you need to look at the big picture because I don't think you get value for money down there. I really don't. I mean,
well, knowing the lower leagues anyway.
Sometimes you're paying, 4 or 5 million for a player that, as we just said, look at the Bodo Glimt players that you could maybe get for 1 or 2 million. But then again, see, 5 million in 2025 is It is like 1 million from
It
our
is.
day.
It is because the inflation on players now is a lot
It's
higher
mad.
now than what it was
When
20 years ago.
Rangers got linked with that boy for Crystal Palace, Raksaki, and they were quoted 10 million, and you're like, the boy's barely kicked a ball for Palace. He's been out on loan in the Championship at Sheffield United. That to me isn't a £10 million player. I mean, if I look back in the day, but is obviously it's naive to be looking back. But when you look back to, I mean, Celtic got Hartson and Sutton for that,
That's right. Well,
and
12 million now, 6 million each.
you know, and then Rangers were obviously getting tried and tested players like Flo. I mean, Ronald De Boer cost 4.5 million, and you're like, well, how come I'm getting a wee kid that's barely kicked a ball for
Hmm
4.5 million? It's like, but it's just the world we live in now. It's just a tougher market. But
Yep.
have any other sides impressed you with their business?
Eh,
I think
trying to
Kilmarnock have done a lot. I don't know how good it is, but
Falkirk. I
Kettlewell,
mean,
I think
Falkirk
Kettlewell's
might
brought
do well
in
this season. I think.
I think they'll do well, but they signed that Graham, didn't they, from
Hmm
Partick Thistle? That's a
Aye.
good bit of experience to
Ah,
go
well,
with
he's obviously getting
Arfield.
on in years, but he'll be a
Yeah,
good
but
job
you
for
need
them.
that. You need like for every Arfield and Graham, they're going to have younger players. But that I watched them last year against you in a cup game, and there's a boy played out wide. I think his name was Adjaman, and
Ajay, man.
he tore. Who's the boy you said on loan that went to Como?
Oh,
Was it Palace?
it was Alex Valle.
Yeah, he tore him a new one. Now, it might
Hmm.
have been one of I's first games, but
See,
regardless,
didn't play many
this
games for
boy was
Celtic, but I liked
this
Valle.
boy was a championship player in Scotland, and he destroyed him. He
Hmm
was big, he was strong, he was probably everything that you didn't face most weeks, if I'm honest. But I think Falkirk will do quite well this year. I suppose that could bring us on to next sort of topic. What I don't really want to go down the route of saying who's going to finish first to 12th, but
hmm
who do you think? Who will maybe go through a few?
Right.
Who do you think will be your surprise package? Or who do you think will overachieve?
I
Like
think
you
Falkirk.
think Falkirk?
Hmm
I don't see them finishing like top six, but I
No,
think they could finish eighth or ninth,
aye. Maybe
and that sort
maybe
of area.
seventh or something like that. Maybe top of the
But
bottom six, but
just be comfortable.
aye.
Just not be in that relegation playoff or relegation. But I mean, they
hmm
might be for points in the season, but I could see them pulling away. I think Livingston will surprise people. Now, I still think they'll finish in the relegation playoff, but I think what will surprise you is the brand of football. It's not Livingston 1.0,
hmm
like the long balls up to Dykes. I watched them against Ross County in that playoff last year,
Yep.
and they were excellent. They
Aye.
really should have won it by 4 or 5 goals. They were that much better, and everything was on the ground, and even on that horrible pitch. But see, when they actually went to Ross County and played on their grass pitch, they still played the same way. And it's very strange because David Martindale has always been seen as
Are you going to call him
there
Russell Martindale there?
as too many Martins, but he he's always had that sort of stigma attached to him, like he just punts it forward and wins second balls, relies on corners and set pieces. But that couldn't be further for the truth. And I
Mm.
think Falkirk as well play a great brand of football. So I actually think it's going to be quite an entertaining league because I know it's obvious to say that two of the worst teams left in Ross County and St Johnstone, but I mean stylistically, two
Yeah.
of the worst teams left.
hmm
And if two
Aye,
good
the brand of
footballing
football
teams,
they play, you mean?
yeah, like good footballing teams coming up,
Yep.
I would argue that, and even look at the games we've done. I know Dundee have changed their manager, and I'm sure we'll go on to that.
We'll come to that.
But two of the best games I watched last season were Dundee 3, Celtic 3, and Dundee 2, Rangers 3. Dundee
Mm.
played brilliant football. They couldn't keep the ball out their own net, but
That was when
they were,
Dundee were beating Rangers 2-1 and Rangers scored in the last minute to win it. Is that right?
yeah. Dessers missed 18 chances and then
Mhm.
scored by the 19th. Oh, he's a 1 in
So
19 man.
so
But
you think Livingston will obviously finish playoff then?
I
Uh,
don't think their squad's good enough, but I just think surprised. I mean, it will be the way they play football.
who's your tip
I actually
for
think to
getting relegated?
relegation, I think you might not like this one, but I'm worried for Motherwell and Dundee.
I would
I
say
think Dundee
I
because
would
I
say
think the
Dundee.
manager, and they've lost too many good players now. They've lost Cameron McCowan last year.
Hmm.
Mulligan's went to Hibs. That's a great signing. It's a
You've
great
obviously
signing.
heard. You must have heard Stephen Presley's. What is it? Interview? Is
Interview.
he
Right.
getting veiled? I mean,
I said
what a
that
horrible
if you
interview that
want
was.
if you want a manager who's won things, don't pick me. Well, if you want a manager to inspire uh, your
That's not very
your
good.
fans, don't ask him.
I know.
He's I always thought he was a decent-ish centre back. He kept the basic, didn't he? But
Aye, but he's really see when he
I
comes
just
across in interviews, he's really boring, isn't he?
I think he's his accent though. He's quite monotone, isn't he? He's got that
Aye.
sort of. I just don't think it's an inspire. And also, I don't think the manager should have got sacked. The
No,
manager was doing.
I don't think the Dundee fans are
If you
happy with
finish,
the appointment
if you
either.
finish, if you finish top six one year, right, and then yes, there's always going to be a drop off, and they didn't go down. They finished 10th or whatever. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's not as good, but that wasn't a sackable offence to me. Just like
No, he's done all right, him.
Kilmarnock finished what fourth, and then last season finished ninth. They
Yep.
weren't going to sack McInnes, though, were they? I mean,
No.
McInnes obviously chose to go to Hearts, which is fine, but
But I
I
think they
don't think
told
Kilmarnock.
see when he chose to go to Hearts, I think they
Oh,
told him to leave. Didn't
yeah,
they? They
but
told him to leave.
it's because the last game of the season was against Hearts, and they just didn't think it was a great look,
Mm.
which I understand, by the way. I don't think it looks great with the away fans cheering with Nick your manager or whatever. And
Aye.
no, I think no, not for me. I can understand why Billy Bowie, the chairman, did that. I think it just made sense, and you don't
Mm.
want to incite any issues, do you?
Right. Are
But
you
yeah, I
wanting
think
to discuss? Well, wait, we'll finish this bit first, and then we'll move on. Yeah.
yes, I think I saw another one would be who's the top goal scorer for you? Who would your money? Because remember there was guys like Dalby last year who went on loan to Dundee United from Wrexham, who we'd never heard of.
You
So
can't look for me. You can't look past the Dyson Maida. But I think the surprise package this season, and I'm hoping this to be the case. I think the surprise package will be Adam Ida, possibly. Who knows?
mm,
Or maybe even Yamada. We don't know yet, but
it's getting saying three Celtic players. The tough thing with that is they might not all play,
I know.
and that's why I get the feeling that if I'm talking from Rangers' point of view, I don't think our top goal scorers at the club yet. I think Igamani will go and he'll be replaced by somebody who
Mhm.
will be our goal scorer. But I think if I'm looking outside of Rangers and Celtic, I watched a bit of Hearts in a friendly, and there was a boy up front called Braga.
Mhm.
He looks a really natural finisher. But yeah, I think Braga is my wee tip from Hearts because he looks good. Because I think Shankland's not the player he once was,
Mhm.
so I think they're going to rely on goals from someone new, someone young. I mean, the boy might, but what I've seen, he just looked. I think he scored a header for about 6 yards and just always looked to be in the right position. And I think
Mhm.
he would be my wee outside bet for top goal scorer. Obviously, let's look ahead to the weekend's games. We'll sort of quick review them and wee prediction.
Mhm.
Starting tomorrow, we've got Livingston against Kilmarnock. I'm going to say 1-1. And the reason I'm going to say that is because Kilmarnock have made a lot of new signings. Tough to
Mhm.
bed them all in. And Livingston, on their home pitch, they know they've got quite, not a settled team, but settled manager. They have a
Aye.
style. And I could see a score draw. What about you?
Eh, I can see Kilmarnock actually beating them. I'd go 2-1.
2-1.
Just because Livy are obviously they've just come back up and
Yeah.
they'll need to find their feet. So I think Kilmarnock might sneak it.
Yep. Then Saturday night football, we've got Motherwell playing host to Rangers. I'll let you go prediction first.
Um, I I'd probably say about 3-1 Rangers.
Um, I can see it being close. Two new
I hope
managers,
I
two
hope it's
very
closer than that.
similar styles. I think as well. I think Motherwell are going to play good football this year. Don't
Mm.
know if we've got the players for it. I'm going to say 2-1 Rangers and possibly even coming from behind, sort of Rangers way. I don't think it'll be pretty in any way, shape, or form, but I
Mm.
think After the midweek heat, I think most Rangers fans would take that. And that's
Yep.
kind of see how I see it. On to Sunday's games, you start off with the champions of the Championship, Falkirk against Dundee United.
I
I
can see
actually,
that.
I'm not sure.
So, well, on you go.
I'm not sure because I think Falkirk play good football, but Dundee United haven't played the two European games. I don't know if that'll have an impact on them. Do you know, again, I know it seems like a bit of a sit on the fence, but I'm going to go 2-2. I think it's a close one.
I'm thinking the same. I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be 1-1.
Yep. The second game on Sunday will be Dundee against Hibs, and again, I think Hibs would later on in the season. I think Hibs would win by a few, but I think just on the back of that extra time, I can see it just being a 1-0 Hibs. But I think it'll be a comfortable 1-0 Hibs.
I think
Have
Hibs
you
will
got
win as
that?
well, but
Yeah.
I think it'll be. I think Hibs will win 2-1. I think it'll be. They'll probably score late on, but it'll be one each for a while, and then I think they'll come good in the end and win.
Then the champions of the Premiership last year, you've got Celtic at home to St Mirren. What are you going with for that one?
Um, it depends. I mean, I'd I would like it to obviously be a high scoring game, but you never know. I mean, I'll say it'll be. I'll go for a 3-0 Celtic, but
I'm gonna I'm gonna say 3-1. I think
3-1.
St Mirren are always good for a set piece, um, especially under Robinson. Good manager. Don't think we've really spoke much about St Mirren, but
No,
I'd say they're the team who I know what you're going to get from all season. It's going to be 6 out of 10
well, they've
all
punched
the
above
way.
their weight. They've punched above their
Uh,
weight, obviously, for the last couple of years,
yep.
getting into the top six.
Then you've got your Monday night football, which is nice to see. I like a Monday night football.
That'll stop
Really
when the
tough
English
one,
Premier League starts.
of course. Once we get Pap to being the third choice after the English Championship and the Premiership, but it's a tough one because it's at Tynecastle. Hearts against Aberdeen. I think Hearts win narrowly, 2-1.
I'll go for a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I was thinking draw, but I said too many draws.
I,
But
I know, but
I just
I've seen in the past a lot of
opening
the
day standards.
opening fixtures are always draws. I've noticed that in the
Yeah,
past.
Rangers always draw, but yeah, hopefully not this year for my sake.
Mhm.
But no, I think as I said earlier, I think Hearts are gonna turn Tynecastle into a wee bit of a fortress. I'm not saying that they'll win all their games, but if you're looking at 19 home games, I could see them winning at least 12 or 13
Aye.
at home. Yep, and then I think we can obviously meet up again on Monday, and obviously we can review the games. Well, you'll be going to the Celtic one, won't you?
Yep.
I'll be watching Rangers on the Saturday night, and I'll tune into Sports Scene on the Sunday night to catch up with all the other games,
Hmm.
so we can have a bit more of an in-depth chat on them, and also preview the European games from next
That's
week.
right.
We've got
Yep.
three games. You've got Rangers against Pilsen, and if it's anything like last week, I'll need a few Pilsens. uh,
Pilsners.
and I think you've got Dundee United going to Rapid Vienna, which I think is going to be a really tough one.
Hmm.
Really tough. They need to stay in the tie, but we can preview it more
And
on the. And
also,
we've got Hibs against Partizan Belgrade in
hmm
Belgrade. So I think they're all good ties, and it's good to see Scottish teams in it. And let's see if they can just keep in it.
but also, we've got Monday the draw to see who Celtic get as well.
And Rangers, yeah.
Oh,
Hopefully,
aye,
if they're
aye.
not playoff
Hmm.
draw,
There's a aye,
we
but
might
then
not
you know
make
who
the
you've got. But
playoff
you know who
yet.
you've got. You know you've got
No,
Pilsen. Is that right?
well, it'll be Rangers or Pilsen. We'll get Benfica or
All right, the draw.
Club
I
Brugge.
get you now. I didn't realise that.
It's all Andorras. That's why a lot of your games you won't really know who you've got on Monday unless you get Basel, because the
Aye,
rest of
right.
them are all
So,
Karabag or
hmm
somebody. And
Somebody else.
uh,
Yep.
So
Well,
UEFA, they like to do about 18 draws before you
well, at
actually
least we'll have an idea.
tell you. Yep, and I think you'll have a good idea of just. I mean, I don't think you can judge it after one game in the league, but
No,
I think you'll be able to see. Put it this way, I'm excited to see some good football this year, not complete dross, which we've seen recently.
we'll
Because
see
as
what
I said,
happens.
I think Hibs play good football. I think Hearts will play. No, not Hearts. I think they'll play winning football, but probably not
I think
good. But
Falkirk are kind of tough to beat if they play the right way.
Falkirk will play good football. I think Livingston will play better football than we've seen from them. Um,
And thankfully,
yeah, I
they've got
think.
a better looking plastic pitch. Hopefully, they get rid of it
Yep,
soon, but they've
and
got a better looking plastic pitch.
we've still got three of them sadly in the league,
I
but
know it's
all
a bit
meant
of
to
a
be
joke.
going next season. We're still doing
Hmm.
this pod in a year. We can have a goodbye plastic pitches special. But
That depends. That depends on if we get many views, many likes,
yep,
many
but I think
subscribers. We'll just see what happens.
I think it could be something quite fun, and it's always just good to see how everyone's thinking because as I said, you might be a Celtic fan, I might be a Rangers fan, but as Scottish football as a whole is something that we all want to see improve.
Hmm.
So I think
I'd
it's
prefer a bigger
certainly.
league, but we'll come on to that at a later time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we can do a league reconstruction special as well.
Hmm. Aye,
But obviously, again, towards the end of the month, it'll be good to do maybe some more transfer stuff as well. Look forward to
deadline
that.
day stuff. Yep.
Aye. Well, we'll be counting the amount of signings Rangers will try and get over the door.
We'll see if anybody comments on the videos as
let's
well. We can
and let's
reply
see
to
if
them.
Rangers can actually sell a player this weekend because we have about 85 in our squad. So,
Well,
yeah. But no, I thought that was good, and thanks very much for that. And
no
I'll
problem.
obviously speak to you again on Monday, and we can see where we're going from there.
Right. Yep.
All right, well, have a good weekend.
You too, mate.
Right, see you later. Bye
Right.
bye.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.